things.
Why am I pointing with a shocker? Do the like and subscribe. Ooh. Like and subscribe and follow us on Tweety Twatty Twatter with official UMR, capital U, capital M, capital R, or what you're seeing right here. This is our second review for Daredevil. We're just going to do the rest of the episodes.
This was the actual review. The other one was a preview review.
Yeah, well, the last one. Yeah.
Let's call it that, the preview review.
So we're also going to assume that y'all watch these.
Yeah, no, this is
because you should be watching this. This is going to be spoilers. We're going to tell you what we liked and disliked specifically about these episodes.
Tell you what, we'll give you the number right now of how we enjoyed the show, and then anything after the number is all on you.
Yep, all on you guys. So I gave the first 2 episodes, if you didn't already watch that video, I gave it 9 out of 10.
I can't remember what I gave it.
You gave it... You didn't say it.
Oh, that's right, because I refused to.
What did you give
I refused. Well, no, I love those episodes. I just felt weird because they were the building blocks of an episode, so I feel kind of weird judging them on their own.
We're now doing TV shows out of 5 instead of out of 10 like we do with movies. So I would have given it 4.5 out of 5. It definitely dropped for me. Not a fuck ton, though. I'm going 3.5 out of 5 for the rest of the episodes.
Okay. I'm giving it a 4. And the reason is coming up. Now, if you have spoilers starting now.
Start.
Is because after 7, it slows down.
I said, let's talk about them and you can say that. Okay, we'll get to why after 7, but I'm sorry, this is unprofessional movie reviews. I don't got a fucking teleprompter. I'm reading off my phone. So, starting with episode 3, Rabbit in a Snowstorm.
Great.
Oh my god.
And I love how they go for that painting.
And that's it. Is that scene that, what do you see? Emptiness. And that's what ended... Or yeah, that's what started up episode 3, right?
Yeah.
And oh my god, you have a villain only talking about art, and you learn so much about him.
Yep.
And that's it. That is acting, motherfuckers.
That is great.
It's just a dude talking about a white painting.
And okay, so if you guys haven't seen the pre-review review or whatever we're calling it, yeah. So I didn't know who was going to become Kingpin.
You didn't know it was Vincent D'Onofrio.
Extremely excited. As soon as I saw, fuck yes!
Oh, it was great. Such good casting.
It was good casting. Great. He might have even stolen the goddamn show.
He did. I'm gonna.
Dude, I mean, if the next season isn't like it, I don't see him at all. Very upset.
Yeah, if they bring in the villain who I want them to bring in, you're not gonna be upset. You have to give the next villain a chance. If I think that it's that villain,
if I don't see him, I'm gonna be very upset.
Well, you'll see him. So, Rabbit in a Snowstorm.
Great.
Awesome episode. Moving on to In the Blood. That's the one that starts off in the Russian prison with the Russian mobsters and ends with Fisk fucking decapitating a motherfucker with a car door.
Okay, was this the one where... Do we know which one is the one where he gives his backstory with his father?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, that's
after.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But no. Great. I love that they even gave that little bit of a backstory to the Russians, the Chechens.
It made you care about them. It made you care about them.
And it mattered. It did matter, at least until episode 6. It mattered.
It made the last bit of that, it made the head decapitation. I was like, whoa, because I did start to see, this guy... built his way up from a fucking Russian prison, and now he's one of the dudes these Russian brothers are one of the guys who was helping run the city.
Princes in Moscow.
Yeah,
and then they survived the fucking gulag together.
Yep.
And they got out, and one of them wanted to go to Moscow. He's like, no, we got to go to New York, and we're gonna rise up from New York and conquer the world.
They rise,
and they're doing it, and then fucking
decapitated with a corridor
while he's trying to while all the while trying to save his brother's face, because that's the only way they're going to maintain any of the power, is if he squabbles, and he just managed to walk in at the one time when you don't want to run in the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets fucking...
Another thing that did, we do have to kind of hurry up, but fuck it. The one thing that did is showed you why we have to fear Kingpin. Because all we saw was that he's this art dude and that he owns a shit ton of real estate.
Yep.
No, he is a super strong fucking force.
No, I thought go for the one. Yeah.
Well, because the guy's like punch, and he's like wham! It's like a freight train knocks the guy back. You're
wham!
Like,
Wham!
He headbutts him, and you just like, oh my god, Kingpin is terrifying.
I do love the fight choreography. I can't say this enough. The fight choreography is great.
You're great.
Like, every character, you get a feel for how they fight. Because, like, Kingpin is just, he's got that suit, and he's just swinging, not protecting, head out, fists down.
Oh, yeah.
Just angry.
Oh, yeah. Which we'll get to. Again, World on Fire is the next episode, and that has, he has that tender scene with Rosario Dawson. And, if you have anything to say, I want to try to speed through this episode. I got one more thing to say about it, though.
Rosario Dawson, I'm trying to think exactly.
Oh, here, then I'll tell you.
No, go for it.
It had another one of those long, beautiful tracking shots. And it was at the end, and it's inside the car with the blind Chinese guy when they go to Vladimir's hideout.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like,
I forgot about that.
It starts off with this dude singing the
great.
Chinese, and then they like tell him to shut up, and then they leave the car, and then he keeps singing, and then you see the fighting of Daredevil around the car as the camera's moving inside the car. Oh my god.
It's a trilingual scene.
Yeah.
It's two Russian gangsters trying to talk to a blind Chinese man in the back.
Yeah.
But then they try to talk to him in English, and it's...
But it's just another... That scene is just another example how if you don't just watch TV to be entertained, and if you do like studying cinematography, and if you do care about good directing, that scene will be good for you.
But this is Netflix, beautiful. And that's why I like Netflix. That's why I like Netflix, is because they're willing to put a little bit more effort. There are some shows that do this, but I mean, I feel like if this was on like network TV, it wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the camera. We didn't know another Shield. We would have been just pissed. Like, whatever, fine. And we'd still be trying to suffer through.
I think Netflix is tied with Showtime on the best TV show. And AMC. Showtime and AMC, Netflix. All three of them. HBO.
It's not TV. It's not television.
No, it counts, but it just doesn't have as much. All right, and then Condemned. You have something to say about Condemned?
Well, dude. Well, actually, it's got something to say until every episode up until this point. It was a goddamn roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
They kept it tight.
Now, if you don't remember, Condemned is the one where it's him in a fucking trapped in the warehouse with the Russian mobster.
Yeah,
and he's soldering his wound to keep him alive.
This is when he's going after the Russian mobster because he thinks that's how he goes. Because he has to try and save Rosario Dawson because the Russians now know about her. Mm-hmm. And so he's going after them to stop them from going after her because he feels like, because he kind of did. She's collateral damage from what he's been doing.
Yeah. And so the phone call.
The phone call? The talk on the walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
Oh, great. The back. And they're almost the same character, but just slightly
They go different ways.
Yeah.
They both want to save the city.
No, that's the whole point.
Yeah, and that's what you need good villains that juxtapose the heroes.
Well, yeah, but that just goes back to Kingpin. He's great. He's one of those villains that's not just evil to be evil or evil.
He really has strong motivation, which we'll get to. All right, and then let's just kind of speed through the last ones. So then we start to slow down on Stick. Slows down, and I really liked the actor that got to play Stick, and I actually really liked Stick. The one thing this episode shows us is we don't hear anything about what the Black Sun is, but we learn that there's this superpower or something, and it just reminds us that we're in the MCU.
It's besides that and all
superpowers in this.
It's that and the repeated mentions of Captain America and the cuts to whenever you go into the Ben's, what is it, the Daily Bugle or whatever the hell.
Well, he's not part of the Daily Bugle. He's the Daily something. It's
Daily Bulletin or
Daily Bulletin. That's not it.
And it always cuts to like his Battle for New York, and I think that's the only thing that really keeps tying you back to this is the MCU.
I want to get to that at the end.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Like, it's just those offhand mentions of Marvel characters and that.
But yeah, so Stick.
Great. I didn't mind it. I mean, obviously, it was good. It was a change of pace, and it's actually like a complete 180 compared to anything else in the show.
And
it's obviously setting up something for either Defenders or
definitely is. It's setting up. I think the ending scene where you see Stick go back to Japan and he talks that you just see the back of this giant scar guy. I'm not going to say who I think that is. I do have an idea who I think that is, and I think that's our season 2 villain, and I think he's going to make Kingpin look like a little bitch. Okay. If that's who I think it is, it's going to make Kingpin and Kingpin's henchmen look like nothing.
Well, yeah.
Then the reason, because if it is him, his henchman's the Hand, and we only saw one member of the Hand, and that's later on with Kunu, the Japanese guy.
Oh, Nobu?
Nobu. Now think, an army of him. They're all that highly skilled.
And Nobu's the one that got close to fucking killing him.
Yeah, and that's who I think that guy, the guy who I think that is dude who's in charge of the Hand, and it's just an army of those motherfuckers. Yeah. And that's what I want season 2 to be. No. Anyways, I should talk about that later.
No, Stick was great. It was fine. I thought that was the break, because I thought for the longest that it was going to be a 10-episode series.
Yeah.
And that's why, this is where it starts dragging out. This is when it's...
Yep, and so the show now, I'm not going to go episode to episode anymore. The show starts to get slowed down. And the only other episode that really burns into my head after this, after Stick, is the Kingpin fucking origin episod.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is one of the best episodes, and you really understand what this dude went through in his
and why exactly
anger issues.
And he doesn't. And it's not even that he starts off evil, or anything. He's a great kid, just a really shitty father, and then he uses what his father shittily told him to kill his father.
His dad makes him beat the bully up and keep kicking him, and he's crying as he's kicking the dude. And then later, when he's killing his dad with a fucking hammer, he's screaming, "Keep kicking him!"
Just crying and clubbing him.
I almost teared during that scene. That scene grabbed me. I was like,
I love the start because it goes into his morning ritual, and it also ties back into the
rabbit in the snowstorm painting because he was staring at the walls of his dad beat his mom.
You him sweating and screaming. He looks over and it's him, and he just stares at the painting for a while. Then he wakes up, cooks himself some eggs. Gets all ready, sets up his suit, and then while he's examining himself...
No, that is that episode.
Well, he does it repeatedly.
Yeah.
But the difference is the next time it has Vanessa in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, he's putting on a suit, and in the mirror, he's not seeing himself, he's seeing his...
bloody, covered in blood.
Covered,
but you don't know why
self. You have no idea. He's like, oh, so we're going to figure out why that's a thing.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Great. It was a great hook.
Great episode. Now...
And it really,
And then, other cool highlights, his fight with Naboo, and he gets his ass kicked, and then he has to do a fight with Kingpin, right after his fight with Naboo, and Kingpin beats the shit out of him.
Because Naboo fucking nearly gutted him.
Yeah, and then...
Nearly gutted him.
That, of course, ends with Foggy finding out who he is.
Yep.
Now, I already know somebody said that, because my girlfriend said that she thought that whole episode with Foggy was slow. They didn't have to do an entire episode on that. But I kind of agree with her. But I like the flashbacks. I like that it wasn't just a Foggy finding out episode.
I liked that. The thing that I didn't like...
It was an origin story on them, that episode.
What I didn't like was they cut that with Karen and Ben. No, they're fine, but that...
Karen and Ben should have got its own fucking episode.
They should have gotten its own... It should have been one episode.
Of 4 episodes, and they would just kept being
the slow parts of 4 episodes, and then...
It was the same scene over and over again with Karen and Ben.
And then the only thing that I didn't like about the Foggy and Murdoch, Matt, when Foggy finds out is because they have an entire episode to deal with this, but they don't deal with it. Mm-hmm. It's just...
And then it drags on for 2 episodes after
past it, so it's like, so what was the point of the last episode?
That episode ends with him taking the sign and throwing it in the garbage. It doesn't deal with it at all. Yeah,
no. Okay. I liked it up until the fact that they just didn't end it.
Okay. Speeding along, we're at 14 minutes.
Okay.
Him getting the suit and then the ending. Let's just slip to that. What do you think of the design of the actual Daredevil suit?
I liked it.
Me too. And I liked how he got it.
I thought it was a little forced in slightly, but other than that, yeah.
It's a superhero movie.
No, it's a superhero movie. I got... Okay, the only thing I actually really didn't like about the ending was the cut back to him on the roof. Because I don't feel we need that when we have the entire show of him already doing that. We don't need the cut back to him standing on the roof, hearing the scream, and then, running off and posing in the air with his... No. We already know this is a show. We already know where this is going. We don't need that cut back.
Now the ending with all of his men fucking ditching him and turning on him, and then you finding out that Shawshank Redemption warden was fucking blackmailing him the whole time.
Oh yeah, no, I love.
I loved that because his character Leland, I guess, is actually a rather huge villain, and I've never read any Daredevil comics. I read a lot. He's actually a pretty decent-sized Daredevil villain. And when I found that out, I was still watching, and I was like, oh, but they just use him as a random henchman? No, he's a player. He's a fucking player.
Well, because they kind of mentioned that when they're talking about, who is it when they're talking? Oh, Vladimir. Mm-hmm. The Russian guy's talking about he can name the accountant that ties everything together, and he's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And he's one of the top members of Baron Stern, which is supposed to be like a, what is it? One of those top financial management
conglomerate
things.
Now, how'd you feel? Now, back to the ending, but another character's ending. How'd you feel about Karen shooting Homeboy?
No, I loved that, and I loved her wake-up scene.
I loved that scene, too.
I love that scene.
You really think I would have put a loaded gun on the table?
Oh, no, I love, because I totally think that character would definitely try and pull that.
Yeah.
He's trying to,
trying to mind fuck her.
Because up until that point, they've always been a couple steps ahead of her, and he's like, I can bluff that I'm still a couple steps ahead of her, and she might just buy it. And she calls it, and she wins, and I like that, and I liked her, her coming to realization with what she did when she comes and she takes the shower, she's drinking, she has the dream,
she comes
and
she
has the
Kingpin dream,
the whisk, and when she's realizes she's out of she wakes up, realizes she's out of whiskey, goes grabs a beer, turns around and Kingpin's there and goes, after I first killed, it was rough for me too, but you know what I found out? The more you do it, the easier it gets, and he starts beating her and she wakes up.
Now, even in fucking dream sequences, that guy gives me the fucking chills.
Dude, it was great.
Now, the only problem I had with that guy dying is that he actually died. I like that whole scene. I like that whole shooting, but I loved that character. He was a menacing, terrifying, and in
a very different way.
End of episode 1 or beginning of episode 2. No, end of episode 1 when you meet him was like, holy fuck!
Wasn't it? Yeah, when you saw him going around just doing stuff and he wouldn't give out his name.
Well, yeah, when he calls, but he calls the dude threatens his daughter with the assassin sitting right there. And oh my god, flip all the way back to episode 3 and then we'll be done.
Oh yeah,
the bowling fight.
I
almost forgot about it.
No, the only thing I didn't like, is because they had the opportunity to give her character such a greater depth. Because up until that point, she's like, no, he's a monster because he murdered. And she even knew that he murdered his father for beating his mother. Uh-huh. And she's like, no, that's wrong. And then she does it out of self-defense, kind of like he was doing. And then she just drops it for the rest of the last 2 or 3 episodes. Uh-huh. And then it becomes a thing at the end when he goes, I noticed you've been different since that time.
Yeah,
because
I killed a motherfucker.
But she goes back to going to where it actually mattered again.
I'm glad that didn't end in them kissing.
I'm extremely
glad. Glad. Yeah, because I know that in the comics that she's his main love interest. No. But I thought since she was gonna kiss, and I'm like, no, too much shit's going on. It would be too forced. I don't. Well,
at the very end, because they had nothing going into that besides the Daredevil thing, and she doesn't know, so they would have nothing besides the fact that she thinks he's hot.
Yeah.
If anything, she should have had it for Foggy, which they just dropped.
They dropped that too.
After,
okay, this is a 20-minute video, damn near.
So, we're going to get the review, so, if anyone's watching, it's your damn fault.
So, tell us what you think. Tell us your favorite episodes. I'm going to say, Kingpin Origin Story, I don't know the name of the episode, and Rabbit in the Snowstorm are my favorite episodes. I think Rabbit in the Snowstorm is my favorite. Because it's got the bowling scene, and it's got that art, and it's just...
That tracking shot in the hallway fight.
That's 2.
Episode 2 is just 2.
You think episode 2 is your favorite?
I'm a kung fu fight guy. I actually really love fight choreography when it's done really well, and the show does it, so I'm really excited. It's not just the crappy sitcom
fight scenes.
No, even feels like the character depth, like we were talking about earlier. So 2 and the Nobu fight, I don't know, man. There's too many good ones. Everything up until 6. It's 1 through 6, amazing. Yeah. Just great. If they could have wrapped it up at 7, best series ever.
Okay, let's do the thing.
See ya. The
Bye!
thing, point, click, bye.